Good morning. The word for you today. Today is Thursday, September 5th, and our devotion today is titled God Cares About the Details of Your Life. Our scripture passage comes out of the book of the book of Luke. I'm looking at the wrong date. The book of Luke, chapter 12, verses 4 through 7. And it tells us, I tell you, my friends, do not fear those who kill the body, and after that have nothing more that they can do. But I will warn you whom to fear. Fear him who, after he is killed, has authority to cast into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies, and not one of them is forgotten before God? Why, even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, you are of more value than many sparrows. So this is a statement that Jesus is making to a group, and he's talking all about worries, daily worry, daily woe. Basically, it's Jesus talking about what the circumstances of fear should be. During Jesus' day, life was hard. I don't think we all fully grasp that sometimes. We say back in the olden days, but this was a world that was built upon oppression and oppression. Much different than the way that oppression works in today's society. Back then, the slave class was a very physical thing. Poverty was something that completely destroyed entire regions, to the point where thinking about having enough to eat was completely and totally foreign. And while those problems and those issues still exist today and are still very real, the vast majority of people that I meet don't worry about that to the same extent. And so for Jesus, a man who is wise and caring, to say, don't fear about this, don't worry about this, it sounds insensitive almost when you first hear it. And for me, it causes tension. When I first read this, I hear a God who says, I don't care, don't stop. And that doesn't vibe, that doesn't gel with the picture I have of God. And so when I feel that tension, when I feel that ick in my body that says what I'm hearing and reading and how I'm understanding it doesn't match what God's saying or what I believe God says, that invites me to look deeper at this passage. And so I invite you to join me in this. Jesus is telling people who he is. He continues that in the next section of verses, which we're not going to read. But basically what it is it's God telling, or Jesus telling the people around him who he is. He says that he is the Son of Man, but also who is acknowledged by the angels of God. He continues through and he says he teaches a parable of the rich fool. This entire time he's talking about how earthly, present, physical reality does not equate to spiritual reality. I think that what this is saying is that God in his infinite, God in his power, in his presence, in his love and compassion and mercy, in his wrath and anger, in everything that God is, there is a single-minded focus on his creation, not because he relies on it, but because he cares for it. And so, when Jesus says, don't worry about it, stop having fear about this, it's an invitation, I think, to take a step back and realize that our spiritual reality, our life with Jesus, our life with God, our life with the Spirit, is completely and totally cared for. And because he cares for our spirit, he also cares for our physical selves. And that may not look obvious all the time, and that's okay. And it's okay for us to sometimes feel like God doesn't care, because it's us acknowledging the way that the situation makes us feel. But what's important is to take those worries, take those feelings to God and talk to him about it. And you may not get an answer right away, but he cares about those details. Have a nice day.